A young girl named Rachel is in her dream, watching a couple from a circus fall from a height due to an accident. She wakes from this recurring nightmare depicting the deaths of that couple. Her mother, named Melissa, hears her screams and comes to comfort her. Crosses line the walls and door to her room as Melissa locks Rachel in her room. She fears the evils of her darkness. Melissa is struggling to keep herself together in the face of Rachel's dark side manifesting. In the morning, Rachel questions what is inside of her, while Melissa prays for her condition. The darkness of Rachel suddenly shows up again and threatens Melissa. So, Rachel quickly leaves the house for school. Meanwhile, we see Detective Dick Grayson in Gotham City. He gets a new partner, but it looks like he doesn't like to work with a partner. In the evening, a gunman comes to the house of Rachel and kills Melissa in front of Rachel. After revealing that she isn't Rachel's real mother, the sight spikes Rachel's darkness once again, knocking the gunman back against the wall. Seeing this, Rachel escapes the house and takes a one-way trip to Detroit. In the night, it is revealed that Dick is a superhero Robin who has worked against crime alongside Batman in the past. Tonight, Dick decides to don the Robin suit for the first time in over a year. He brutally takes down several criminals on his way to taking down a drug dealer. He verbally dismisses Batman as he leaves the scene. Rachel also reaches that city and is eating food at a shelter house. A woman comes to her and asks her to come to the shelter for the teens, which is the best place for her to spend the night. Rachel hesitantly believes her and starts following her. But when she guides Rachel into a blind alley, the darkness of Rachel forces her to flee from that place. She runs and takes refuge from a police officer by hitting his car. That's how she ends up in the police station. There she meets Detective Dick Grayson and identifies him as one of the persons from the circus she dreamt about. Rachel requests him to help her as her circumstances have taken her to him. She also gets a glimpse of Dick's past with Bruce Wayne when she touches his hand. But Grayson feels uncomfortable talking about the circus as his parents were killed there. She begs Dick to lock her up due to the forces inside her, but Dick leaves her in the interrogation room alone. After that, a man disguised in the police uniform comes to Rachel and takes her with him, saying that she is being shifted to another place. Her darkness guides her that this man is not a police officer and she should run. But before Rachel could do anything, that man sedates her by injection and puts her into the car. Meanwhile, Dick receives a call from his fellow officer and confirms that Rachel was saying the truth about her mother's death. So, he rushes to see Rachel again, but she is not there. She is being carried in a police mobile. He spots the car and starts following her. Dick's pursuit leads him to an abandoned home, where Rachel is being held by her mother's murderer. The man begins speaking of the force within Rachel in biblical overtones. He tells her she is damned from within, and then he takes out a knife. He says he must perform the ritual to close the doorway and save the world before Rachel possesses him. But suddenly, a dark force from Rachel enters through his mouth and liquefies his organs, killing him from the inside out. Dick catches a glimpse of the act before helping Rachel escape. He kills the man disguised in the police uniform and takes Rachel with him in his car. At the same time, somewhere in Austria, a fiery-haired woman wakes up in a wrecked car. She discovers bullet holes in the car, and the shooters quickly return, chasing her into the woods. She is able to escape, though she has no memory of who she is. She identifies her name as Corey Anders from a passport in her purse, and also finds a hotel key in the purse. Hotel employees recognize her when she returns, though they are unable to give any knowledge about her. When she goes to her room, Corey discovers a bound and gagged man in her suite's closet. She asks him for information about her identity, but things quickly take a turn when he's able to free himself. Corey easily subdues him, learning that club owner Konstantin Kovar might know more about her before killing him. Also, Corey has the lock screen picture of her phone with Konstantin. Corey follows the lead, confronting Kovar at his nightclub. The shooters come from beside his office, as Konstantin berates Corey for her betrayal. According to Konstantin, Corey had been acting as his girlfriend in the previous days, and then in the end she ditched him just for a girl whom she was searching for. Saying this, he shoots at Corey, but the attack awakens Corey's powers, and she stops the bullets easily. Then she engulfs the room in flames. With Kovar and his heavies reduced to ash, Corey finds a picture of Rachel, the girl whom she was looking for. The story shifts to two other superheroes named Hawk and Dove. Hawk is caught by the goons, and they are about to torture him, but Dove reaches there in time and fights off the goons to save Hawk. After reaching back home, Hawk injects himself with painkillers as he has sustained many injuries in the fight. Dove asks Hawk to abandon the work of saving people from bad ones, as it is affecting their lives a lot. Hawk agrees to leave it, but after this last mission, in which they are going to capture a gun dealer. Meanwhile, Dick and Rachel are on the run. They book a hotel room to stay for the night. When Rachel is watching TV, Dick leaves her alone in the room for some tasks outside. Being alone in the room, she checks out the computer of Dick and finds out that Dick has relations with Bruce Wayne and his family's death. Meanwhile, the computer receives printouts of the killer of her mother and its autopsy report. Rachel sees the body of the man she left behind in the abandoned house. The sight brings her darkness out. That darkness forces her to give it control over her body. It threatens Rachel a lot, which makes her anxious. She starts making the crosses and hides herself in the bathroom. Dick returns to find Rachel sitting in the bathtub, defensively praying and surrounded by drawn crosses. In the morning, we see a mysterious family that appears to be stuck in the 1950s called into action to secure Rachel by cult leader Dr. Adamson. The squad pursues Dick and Rachel in their car, while Rachel and Dick continue to bond as they make their way to Washington, D.C. Rachel asks Dick about being adopted by Bruce. Dick dodges the question, but Rachel's feelings of being left behind due to her losses speak to him more. While he says the pain doesn't fully go away, he reassures Rachel that he isn't going to leave her. The two arrive at Hawk and Dove's home to the surprise of Dove. The 4-year gap between their last meeting has seen many changes. Dick has grown much more violent, while Hawk and Dove's love for each other has bloomed. Rachel gets a vision of Dove and Dick's past love affair when she meets Dove, pointing to some unresolved emotions between the three. Dove takes them in temporarily. She brings Dick up to speak on Hawk's various injuries and their plan to leave the vigilante business after one last job. She believes Dick could help them, just like old times, but the arriving Hawk isn't keen on the idea. It looks like he doesn't want Dick around. Maybe he is cautious of the previous relationship of Dove and Dick. After that, we see Dick is leaving some money hidden in the house of Dove and Hawk. He intends to leave Rachel with them, and he wants to go away. Despite Hawk's wishes, Dove brings Dick up to speed on their final operation. The plan seems foolproof, and the conversation turns toward Dick's intentions with Rachel. Dick explains that he isn't good at staying close to others, and states his intention to not take in Rachel. When Dove and Dick are having a normal conversation about their lives, Hawk comes suddenly. He doubts that they are again patching up behind his back, so he gets angry and attacks Dick. But Rachel comes there and yells at them, exposing her darkness to them. They all get frightened at the sight. Meanwhile, the odd family reaches the house partner of Dick, asking about the whereabouts of Rachel and Dick. But when she doesn't reveal anything, they kill her. In the night, Rachel asks Dick why he hurt Dove in the past, but he dismisses it as being in the past, though Rachel knows otherwise. After that, Hawk and Dove head out on their mission, leaving Rachel and Dick behind. Rachel pushes Dick to help them due to his actions in aiding her. Dick disagrees as he believes that helping others only leads to more getting hurt. Rachel understands but relates how good it feels to let the darkness out sometimes. That sentiment is enough to convince Dick to show up and save an outnumbered and injured Hawk and Dove. Dick's violent nature surprises Dove, making her realize he has actually changed. He kills all the goons there and saves both of them. Back at home, Rachel finds the money and note that Dick has hidden for keeping Rachel with Dove and Hawk. She gets angry at this and goes to the rooftop. Meanwhile, the whole superhero team comes back, and they have a strong argument. Rachel confronts Dick about him leaving her behind and shows the note to Hawk. Dick tells her otherwise, but one touch of his hand proves him to be a liar. Being left behind by Dick leaves Rachel an emotional wreck. The assassin family also appears on the roof as Rachel deals with Dick's truth. A fight breaks out, with the family gaining the upper hand easily. Dick is tossed over the edge of the building as a restrained Hawk watches the father throw Dove through her birdhouse and off the roof to the ground below. The family takes Rachel with them as Dick tries to help severely injured Dove. The image brings back Dick's memories of his parents' deaths. Corey has also reached there and watched Rachel being abducted by the family. Corey has also gone to Rachel's house before for an investigation. She has taken a picture of Rachel from her home, indicating that she has some connection to a convent. Also, there, she killed the police officers who had come to check out the house. In the morning, she is tailing the family and Rachel from Hawk and Dove's apartment to a remote gas station. As Rachel tries to escape through a bathroom window, Corey comes outside the bathroom and blows a hole in the side of the building, frying the father of that family in the process. Corey takes Rachel with her in her car away from that gas station to save her from that family. Corey also informs Rachel of her history at St. Paul's Convent, showing her a picture of her mother and her as a baby with a collection of nuns. Corey asks Rachel if she knows anything about her identity, as she still doesn't know anything about herself. However, Rachel, of course, knows nothing of her and is also unable to see anything when touching her. The two talk about their respective internal darkness and light within as they make their way to the convent. On the other side, Dove is recovering in the hospital with Hawk by her side. Dick pays a visit to them. Dick has no answers to Hawk's questions about the family, but vows to find them and Rachel. Recent events force Dick to reflect on his childhood following his parents' deaths. When a young, fragile Dick was taken in by Bruce Wayne, but quickly rejected the luxury of Wayne Manor. So, he escaped through the window, but he was quickly recovered by social services. Rather than being punished, a social worker explained to him that Bruce knew what he was going through due to his own experience of loss in the past. Her explanation of Dick's running away as a means of grasping power where there wasn't any resonates with him. He returned to Wayne Manor but quickly stole a car, the same one he currently drives, and led the Gotham Police Department on a chase through the city streets. Dick returned to Wayne Manor after being scolded by his social worker. There, he found a letter from Bruce hinting at the beginning of his training as Robin. It also marked the beginning Dick's desire to find and kill his parents' murderer in earnest. In the present day, Dick learns of both Corey's break-in at Rachel's home and his partner's death at the hands of that family from a police officer. So he goes and finds the gas station where Corey saved Rachel earlier and steals security camera footage from the shop. The footage shows Corey leaving with Rachel and allows Dick to track them using their car's license plate and some cool Wayne Tech gadgets. Meanwhile, Corey and Rachel arrive at St. Paul's. Sister Catherine welcomes Rachel with open arms and recognizes Corey from a visit 1 year prior. Catherine tells Rachel of her previous time at the convent. She has spent her childhood there. Her mother brought her there to hide her from her father. Sister still wants to offer her protection for Rachel. Corey senses danger within the confines of the building, but shifts her focus once she learns that her oddly marked key opens a storage locker at a local roller rink. All paths lead to the local roller rink. She returns to Rachel as she prepares to hit the arcade. Corey asks her about her father, but Rachel has no knowledge of him. Rachel is enjoying herself at that place, playing games. She hits up the rink's pinball machine, drawing the attention of a guy named Gar. The two compliment one another on their hair colors in the usual stammering teenage meet-cute fashion. The fun is broken up when Dick arrives. He, Corey, and Rachel have an altercation outside the building. Dick informs them that the police are looking for them, but Rachel abruptly steers the conversation to Dick's intention to leave her behind at the house of Dove and Hawk. The heightened emotion releases her dark force again, blowing out multiple car windows and frightening everyone. The three rush back to the convent as the patrons of scooters, including Gar, file out. The green-haired lad Gar watches them leave from the rink's stoop, curious about his new friend. After that, Dick lets Rachel in slightly as the trio returns to the convent. Rachel continues to point out her loneliness and Dick's misleading actions, which Dick agrees with. At the convent, Dick tells her that she is alone. She always will be because the loss she feels will always be there. He knows because he feels it too. He implores her to learn to channel and control that emotion if she ever wants to deal with it. Meanwhile, Corey uses the opportunity to steal Dick's car and head to the newly discovered storage room. Dick is also tracing her and reaches that place. After Corey and Dick both have left the convent, Sister Catherine drugs and locks Rachel away in a solitary room. In that room, the darkness within Rachel is unleashed again in full force. On the other hand, Corey finds a storage unit lined with pictures of Rachel, maps, newspaper clippings, an odd machine resembling a tanning bed exuding purple light, and numerous manuscripts in a language Corey can speak but doesn't understand. She finds an audio log made by herself 1 year prior, revealing that she was pursuing a group of Russian smugglers that brought Rachel and her mother to the convent with new last names. It looks like she has been tracing Rachel for many months. Dick arrives and notices multiple depictions of ravens on the documents lining the wall. He questions Corey's origins, which she dodges because she still doesn't know. Corey points out that mortality rates spiked on Rachel's birthday, slowly beginning to realize that she is actually part of a world-ending prophecy. Also, she says that Rachel is the destroyer of the world. Meanwhile, they hear the sound of an explosion and quickly come out. It is the darkness within Rachel that gets the better of her, causing an explosion at the convent. The blast allows Rachel to escape into the woods, as Corey and Dick see smoke rising in the distance. After that, we see the family report their failure to their employee named Dr. Adamson. The doctor threatens to kill them, stating that they were built better than this. The daughter in that family asks about Rachel's importance, prompting the doctor to reveal that Rachel's father is the bringer of doomsday. Rachel must be recovered, as only she can welcome him to their realm. The daughter expresses that she'd like to see a world stripped of its outward flesh, and Adamson decides to give them another chance by supplying them with a new father. Rachel is on the run through the snowy woods after destroying and escaping her convent prison. Unknown to her, Gar is on her trail in tiger form. His transformation into the human form attracts her attention, and he leads her away from her destruction. The two have a discussion about the nature of their powers. Gar believes himself and Rachel to be unique, though Rachel sees herself as a danger. Gar brings Rachel to his home, which appears to be an abandoned mansion, and lights up to reveal a teenage basement, complete with video games and unlimited Orange Crush. Rachel questions his living situation. After both reveal that their parents are dead, Gar rushes Rachel into a closet, as someone is coming towards his room to check for him. The plan fails as Robot Man, who has come to check on Gar, discovers Rachel there and scolded Gar for bringing her here. The distracting argument allows Rachel to discover Larry, aka Negative Man, cooking up a lavish dinner. Rachel joins the crew for dinner and is later joined by Rita, Elastigirl, after she is able to form her unstable cells into her normal appearance. Unfortunately, her face begins to lose shape. Rachel comforts her, taking her by the hand and seeing visions of the accident that altered her cellular structure. Rita's face returns to form as the group's doctor and caretaker, Chief, arrives. Chief's dinner interruption is for a good reason, as he pulls his group into assistant duty with the treatment of a new patient. She has been the victim of an explosion in a liquid nitrogen container, and now her body temperature is continuously dropping. Chief's medicine fails to counteract the patient's fluctuating body temperature, but to Chief's amazement, Rachel's touch stabilizes and heals her. Back at the dinner table, Chief uses the opportunity to find out more about Rachel's powers, leading him to offer her similar aid. He explains that he helps those that others have given up on, and convinces Rachel to submit to an examination. All the other people present at that table also testify that Chief helped them at that time, when all the doctors had left them hopeless. When everyone narrates their own story of meeting Chief, Rachel also seems to be convinced. After that, the Chief takes her into the operating room and binds her tightly. He is going to inject some serum into Rachel, but Rachel changes her mind and now doesn't want his treatment anymore, so she asks him to stop, but Chief continues his treatment. Meanwhile, Gar threatens Chief when he doesn't release Rachel, but Chief administers him some sedating serum and makes him unconscious. This stress unlocks the dark energy within Rachel, picking up Chief and slamming him against the wall of his examination room. Dick and Corey also arrive on the scene just in time to save Rachel. In that mansion, Corey handles the Chief's subordinates while Dick goes to save Rachel from herself, as she is going to be overcome by the darkness of her completely. Dick embraces her, causing her dark energy and a mysterious portal to close automatically. He tells her that he was wrong when he told her that she is all alone and has to take care of her emotions herself. Now Dick claims that he will never leave her alone and will fight along with her to her darkness. As Dick, Corey, and Rachel leave the house, Gar also joins them, leaving his family and Chief behind. Dick, Corey, Rachel, and Gar hide out at a rundown motel on the edge of nowhere. Dick has traded in his Porsche for a minivan to lower their profile and adjust the whole team now. Dick gathers everyone together after their settlement in the motel and calls the group an alliance born out of mutual need that must learn what each can do and how to fight together as a unit. So, during the training session, Corey reveals that she can burn down anything with her powers, and her flame is drawn from the sun. So, it makes her weak at night. She is also well trained in using her powers. After her, Gar becomes the Green Tiger and shows that he can change to that fierce tiger anytime. However, he has never killed or bitten anyone yet. Now it's Rachel's turn. However, Rachel is hesitant to showcase her powers due to their unpredictable nature. Her fears that she might hurt her friends are soothed by Dick, who tells her she can't be afraid of what's inside because it is part of her. So, Rachel lets the darkness flow from her mouth, but it quickly becomes uncontrollable. Seeing this, Corey lights up the flame and attacks the darkness, allowing Rachel to regain control of herself. The group then turns to Dick to see what he can do, but he doesn't tell them about his powers, and just says that he can save their lives. Meanwhile, Dr. Adamson provides the family with a new dad after an intense brainwashing and reprogramming process. Once again intact, the family resumes their mission to capture Rachel. They determine the group's location by beating the information out of the used car dealer that procured Dick's Porsche. The family launches their attack shortly after Dick and Corey's meeting in the hotel. Mom and Dad target Dick, while the children battle Corey in the hotel hallway. The squads trade blows until Dick is thrown through a second-story window onto a car below. Corey, Rachel, and Gar regroup outside, but find themselves surrounded by the family. Corey tries to fire up but cannot do so because it is nighttime. The family closes in as a smoke bomb careens into the group, and Robin makes his grand entrance. Robin fights the family as Gar and Rachel join the battle, allowing them to capture their attackers. Now the team knows that Dick is actually Robin, with a lot of talent and smart gadgets. After that, an interrogation of the brainwashed assassins yields little outside of the fact that their employer wants Rachel for unknown reasons. The family notes that everyone will find themselves in trouble following their capture, before refusing to reveal the identity of their employer. Dick looks through the family's car for clues. Dick discovers Dr. Adamson's name and location in the family's car, and leaves to confront him. Adamson self-destructs the family when he sees Dick in his penthouse's lobby. The heads of all the family members explode when Dr. Adamson presses a button standing in his penthouse. However, Dick enters Adamson's home and immediately pushes him for more information. He finds little luck though, as Adamson reveals that his organization is dispatching people to kill them both as they speak. He tells Dick that he himself has revealed to the enemies that's why the organization is going to kill him. Also, the head of the organization is Rachel's father, but he is not present here in this world. They need Rachel to call him back into this world. During their conversation, the shooters arrive and subdue Dick after a fight, but another smoke bomb is released, announcing the entrance of another superhero. This new hero saves Dick, referring to him by name before introducing himself as the new Robin. Dick and the new Robin, named Jason Todd, now have plenty of time to get to know one another as they transport an unconscious Adamson to a secure location. This meeting of the two Robins is embraced far more by Jason than Dick. He compares the two of them, including their suits, while expressing the honor he feels from meeting Dick. But Dick is much less enthused. That sentiment delves lower when Jason reveals that he was able to track down Dick via a tracker planted in his arm by Batman. The duo takes Adamson to a Wayne safe house, which Dick is unable to access without Jason. Jason brags about the thrill of beating people up and the fame accompanying the mask. Batman needs Robin, and Jason is proud to provide such aid. After that, Dick enters the bathroom to remove the tracker and tells Corey and the others to come to the safe house on the call. Then, Dick tells Jason to leave, but Jason refuses as he has something to show Dick. That something is a series of photos of dead bodies from Dick's past. The victims are former members of the circus Dick performed with as a child. They're also all killed with acid, the calling card of the Maroney crime family, which was responsible for the deaths of his parents. The killer is clearly targeting figures from Dick's past, with his next victim being a strongman and Dick's former guardian, Clay. So, they spot Clay and try to call him. When he doesn't pick up the call, Dick decides to visit him to caution him about the danger. The rest of the Titans arrive, but Dick once again leaves them to protect Clay. Dick leaves Adamson unconscious under the supervision of Corey. Jason and Dick track Clay, who is now a bouncer at a nightclub. There, Dick reunites with Clay, who remarks how much better Dick turned out under Bruce's care than his own. Meanwhile, Jason picks a fight for the hell of it. Dick goes to him and breaks up the fight, as a car explodes outside of the club. Clay is separated from Dick in the panic, but Dick quickly receives a phone call from Clay. Unfortunately, it's not Clay on the line. The killer named Melting Man has taken Clay. He asks Dick to come for him and offers to meet him alone. Dick tells Jason not to be Robin, as he doesn't understand the price paid for putting on the mask, and he rushes to save Clay. He reaches the place where Clay is bound and hangs just below a reservoir of acid. The killer threatens to give Clay an acid shower as he reveals his motives. Dick is able to deduce the identity of the killer as Melting Man in no time, pegging him as Nick Zuko. He is the son of the Maroney hitman who killed his parents. In the past, Dick attacked Zuko's prison transport 2 years ago, after learning he'd get federal protection for being the state's witness. Dick was very angry at him because he had killed his parents. Dick's attack allowed the Maroneys to kill Zuko, canceling out any federal protection promised to Zuko's family, including Nick. In the present, Nick is now taking revenge by killing every person dear to Dick. but Dick tells him that it is pointless to attack innocent people now in revenge for a guilty father. But Nick doesn't seem to be convinced and releases some drops of acid at Clay, burning his skin. When he is talking to Dick about his past, Jason shows up to take out Nick. Dick immediately saves Clay at the same time. Jason takes an acid round to the chest from Nick, but that new suit protects him. Dick comes there and knocks Clay out on the spot. Jason runs off to deal with the arriving police as Dick takes care of Clay. Letting Jason take cop duty is rapidly shown to be a mistake as he takes them out brutally, killing some of them. Dick runs in to stop his assault, but Jason doesn't understand why. The mask gives him the ability to do whatever he wants, to kill whoever he wants, and he loves it. Jason knows who he is, but he questions whether Dick truly knows who he is. How can he say he doesn't want to be Robin when he continues to don the suit Bruce gave to him? Actually, Dick doesn't want to be Robin just because he becomes more brutal while wearing that mask. The same is happening with Jason now, but he is not very cautious about it. The Robins go their separate ways. Dick bandages Clay and then calls Corey, letting her know that he's on his way back to the Chicago safe house. Meanwhile, Corey wakes Adamson and starts questioning him, but Adamson tells her she can do whatever she wants to him, but he will only speak to Rachel. The whole team discusses whether Rachel should be allowed to talk to Adamson or not. In the end, Dick gives Rachel 5 minutes of time, and she is allowed to speak to Dr. Adamson alone. A handcuffed Adamson offers Rachel reassurance, telling her she isn't a monster. His wish is the same as that of the organization, which is to reunite Rachel with her father so that she might save and heal the world. He supports his words by slicing his own throat with a broken thermometer so Rachel can heal him. Rachel becomes anxious at the sight of blood and runs to stop the flowing blood from his throat. She does so out of shock, but she sees that she can heal wounds, and the cutthroat starts to heal immediately. Dick and Corey get their chance to interrogate the doctor, getting him to reveal that Rachel's birth mother, Angela, is still alive. Her attempts to hide Rachel from her father landed her in the organization's secret asylum, held under their supervision. The news prompts Rachel to take action, immediately wanting to hit the asylum and find her mother, but Dick warns that it could be a trap, and both Gar and Corey agree that any assault on the facility should be postponed, and we should get more information first. This makes Rachel depressed, so she goes to a room and leaves the team. Gar follows her there. Rachel gets really mad and leaves quickly, but Gar goes after her. Even though she's with a group of strange people who are like her new family, Rachel still feels like she's all by herself. Angela means too much to her to delay any longer. Gar ultimately decides to go with her, leaving Corey and Dick behind, who are actually making a plan to infiltrate the heavily guarded facility. When they discover Rachel and Gar's absence in the building, they become concerned about them, so they immediately go to that asylum. There, the two are met in the asylum's tunnel system by a group of guards, organization doctors, and Gar held at gunpoint. Corey can't use her flames as they are surrounded by gas pipes, and also Dick can't use force as they have Gar at gunpoint. Dick and Corey have no choice but to surrender. It turns out that the asylum is also where Dr. Adamson brainwashed the nuclear family previously. Now, our team is being tortured and captured at separate places. Dick is bound to a chair and is given the hallucinogenic treatment, forcing him to face his deepest, darkest fears. Those fears manifest as a battle between Robin and young Dick. The internal battle rages on, as a silent Dick remains strapped to his chair in the asylum room while being monitored by the doctors. Gar is in the cage, and Corey is in a black room, where she is using her flames to get out. Soon, her energy is deprived, and she is taken to a lab where they cut her belly, performing some type of surgery on her. Meanwhile, Rachel awakens to find herself in Dr. Adamson's office with the doctor in the room. She asks him to let her meet her mother, but Adamson refuses to let her see Angela, shifting the conversation toward getting Rachel to recruit her friends into the organization. He shows Rachel the various tortures the rest of the Titans are enduring as a bargaining chip. The move backfires as Rachel's darkness comes out. Adamson wants her to call to her father, but Rachel chooses a different path. She takes back Adamson's healed neck wound, causing his throat to be reslashed. Then, she discovers Angela's location on Adamson's computer and goes to find her. Eventually, she finds herself in a room locked, being very weak. Both hug each other and say that they have missed each other a lot. Then, they set out to rescue Rachel's friends. First is Gar. Rachel takes him out of the cage, but a doctor comes in and tries to subdue them. But released from his cage, Gar saves Rachel from the doctor by attacking him in his tiger form. Gar's first time biting someone leaves the doctor dead, and blood running down his chin. He recovers, and the trio goes to find others. In a room, they see Dick bound to the chair and shake him out of his catatonic state. Then, they go out for Corey and save her from bodily experimentation. The Titans and Angela make their escape through the underground tunnel, but multiple guards block their exit. Dick takes them on, single-handedly clearing the path. The facility's head doctor, who oversaw Dick's torture, sees the massacre and runs in the opposite direction. Dick remembers the gas lines surrounding them and calls on Corey to provide the spark needed to bring the facility down. It all has to end. The rest of the Titans leave Corey to send the asylum up in flames. The next morning, back at the safe house, Rachel and Gar joke about Dick and Corey hooking up over breakfast before Rachel shares a calm moment with her mother. Gar is also invited to join them. At the breakfast table, Angela gives the idea of housing everyone in her abandoned home in Ohio. Everyone agrees to go with her, but Dick breaks the news to the whole group that he wants to leave them. He wants to go alone and mend his life. Rachel is visibly disappointed with Dick, but gives him a big hug when the crew sees him off. The guiding voice Dick seeks is that of his longtime friend and fellow sidekick, Donna Troy. He shows up on the former Wonder Girl's doorstep to let her know he quit being Robin. Donna is on her way to a photography show, so she counsels Dick on how she dealt with the existential stress of giving up an identity. She didn't quit being Wonder Girl. She just stopped over time. It isn't that easy for Dick. On the other hand, with Dick gone, the remaining teammates make their way to Ohio via train. Corey continues to be plagued by unexplained flashbacks in her mind, showing her that she is crashing her spaceship somewhere. She is on edge due to either the alcohol or the asylum, and takes an interest in the train's bartender, who is continuously looking at her. She takes him aside and threatens him, but backs off when he crouches and pleads his innocence. Unfortunately, Jerry is more than he seems. He calls in law enforcement, informing them that Corey is on the train. Meanwhile, Corey teases Gar over his attraction to Rachel, while Rachel and Angela take time to reconnect during the long trip. Angela reveals that she knew Melissa and left Rachel in her care to protect her from her father. All she wanted was for Rachel to have a mom, which she can now provide due to their reunion. Then Rachel asks her mother about her powers. Angela points out that she gets them from her father, but there isn't anything to fear. Rachel's father can't hurt them anymore, as he is no longer in this world. The sentiment is comforting, but Rachel still seems unconvinced. Meanwhile, the police stop the train, and this makes Corey conscious of them. She sends Rachel out of the train with her mother and Gar, and she remains back. When police attempt to arrest her, she lights them up before making her escape through a window. She meets up with the rest of the group further down the track, and they continue toward Ohio in a stolen truck. On the other hand, luckily, Donna allows Dick to stay at her place while he figures things out. In the night, when they are sharing their life moments, Donna asks about the alien language on Dick's phone. She recognizes it and is able to translate the passages found in Corey's storage room. While the others have finally arrived at Angela's home in Killdeer, Ohio, Corey's memory flashes begin to hurt her physically. Seeing this, Rachel takes notice of her health and offers to heal her. She might even be able to restore her memory. Corey is worried but agrees to let her try. Dick and Donna are racing toward the small Ohio town at the same moment. Donna's translation of Corey's document reveals it to be a mission statement for someone named Starfire. Starfire has been sent to secure Rachel and possibly kill her. Rachel's healing hands work all too well, restoring Corey's memories, including her mission, so suddenly, she takes Rachel by the waist as her eyes go green, preparing to attack her. After that, we see a drunk and pilled-up Hank remains awake, watching over Dawn's hospital bed. The scene shifts to his past when he was a star football player. His half-brother Donnie cheered him on, before the two have an unfortunate run-in with Hank's coach in the locker room. Hank's coach was a sexual predator and tried to convince Donnie to join him in the weight room. Hank tried to prevent it, but offered to take Donnie's place when the coach threatened them with expulsion. So, it's clear where Hank's deep-seated anger issues come from. Fast forward to the brothers' college days. Hank was a star receiver cheered on once again by his star student brother, but the hits were catching up to Hank. He was diagnosed with post-concussion syndrome, but refused to stop playing. Donnie went above his head out of concern, telling the athletic director about Hank's diagnosis. The decision effectively benches Hank, which obviously doesn't sit well with him. An argument between the two devolved into a fistfight, where the brothers took down multiple men in the university library. Fed up with the university asking for more from Hank after taking away his health, Donnie demands that the dean kick them out of school, so, left with no way to vent his anger, Donnie proposed that they join forces to bring justice to registered sex offenders who have avoided punishment for their crimes. Hawk and Dove are born, with Donnie being the original Dove. After some days, the graceful Dawn showed up with her mother. Worlds collide at a newsstand when Dawn and her mother bump into Hank and Donnie. But at the same time, a truck crashes Donnie and Dawn's mother at the spot, and they can't make it out alive. In this way, the two met each other and grew closer over time, leading to Dawn finding the Hawk and Dove costumes. She also got to know about the coach of Hank who used to assault Hank. So, Dawn forces her way into the coach's home, pushing him to admit his actions with Hank. The coach pulls a gun on Dawn, leading to a fight between the two. The coach crawls to his weapon, but Hank's boot pins his hand to the ground. Dawn closes the front door as Hank prepares to enact revenge. After that, in the night, Dawn sees Rachel in a reflection on Hawk's helmet. Rachel's cries for help are finally heard, and Dawn wakes up in her hospital bed back in the present. She falls into Hank's arms and tells him that Rachel needs their help, and they need to find Jason Todd. Rachel's telepathic messages to Hank and Dawn are engulfed in flames, as she is drawn back to the reality that her friend, Corey, has her by the throat. Luckily, Dick and Donna return just in time for Rachel. Donna takes Corey with her whip and takes her down. Rachel blames herself, believing she messed up something within Corey during her attempt to heal her. Angela demands that Corey leave. Corey, unable to remember the attack, apologizes and leaves. She has all the memory flashes in her mind, and she wants to get control over them. Donna and Dick are following her in their car. Rachel defends Corey to her mom despite the attempt on her life. Angela doesn't buy it, but remains thankful that her daughter is now safe. Rachel, Gar, and Angela begin settling into a somewhat normal life. Rachel and Gar are having a tougher time adjusting. Gar does his best to keep Rachel from beating herself up over Corey's attack, but Rachel tells him to leave the house out of fear that she'll hurt him too. Angela stresses the need to hold onto loved ones to Rachel, leading her to make up with Gar. Unfortunately, Gar is dealing with his own demons after letting the beast within get the better of him in the asylum. Rachel's apology is met with Gar's observation that there is something wrong with the house. Dick and Donna follow Corey to an abandoned factory. The three enter together, revealing an empty, dim interior. A security system suddenly begins scanning them, recognizing Corey and revealing her hidden spaceship only a few feet in front of them. The trio boards the ship as more of Corey's memories come flooding back. She remembers her home planet, Tamarin, and recognizes an old book within the ship, identified as the Death of Worlds. Corey recalls why she must kill Rachel. Either Rachel dies, or all of Tamarin will burn, thanks to an interdimensional force that just so happens to be Rachel's father, Trigon. Rachel is the gateway through which he will return to destroy all worlds, and Angela is still in league with Trigon to bring about that destruction. Donna believes Rachel can defeat Trigon even if he returns, but Corey asserts that she could only do so by surviving a draining series of trials. The theory is nice, but the three need to get back to the home due to Angela's hidden motives. In Corey's book, Angela is seen with Rachel assisting her in calling back her father from the other dimension. So, the three rush towards home in their car. Back at home, we see Gar, bleeding from the mouth, passing out on the bathroom floor. Just as the old friend of Angela named Tommy arrives at their home, Rachel tries to heal him while Tommy calls for help. Unfortunately, none of the phones work, and Angela kills Tommy. Rachel is unable to heal Gar, but Angela knows who can. It's Rachel's father. Angela asks Rachel to call him there. Rachel doubts her mother at first, but ultimately gives in when she sees Gar's condition. She agrees to bring Trigon into their dimension. When she does this, and brings Trigon back into their world, he heals Gar at Rachel's request, and his daughter collapses into his embracing arms. Rachel comforts Gar, while Trigon and Angela reconnect. With Rachel's duty complete, Trigon and his lover may now begin their tour of destruction, but not before Rachel is truly broken. After that, we see Dick, Donna, and Corey return to find the house hidden in dark energy. Dick penetrates the shield somehow, but Donna and Corey aren't able to follow. Next scene opens into the future. Dick has set up shop in California alongside a pregnant Dawn and their son, Johnny. A lazy afternoon spent poolside is interrupted by a call from Rachel and Gar. The two are away at college together and are doing fantastic. The Titans have gone their separate ways, living conflict-free lives. That is until Jason Todd, who uses a wheelchair now, turns up on Dick's doorstep. Jason informs Dick that Bruce is in trouble. Gotham devolves into chaos following Commissioner Gordon's murder, and Jason fears Bruce will kill the Joker in retaliation. He implores Dick, who is the real Robin, to return to Gotham, but Dick is reluctant. Dawn motivates Dick to think about Bruce after Jason's exit. She says that Dick is the only one that can save Bruce from himself. So, Dick decides he will go after their baby is born, but is influenced to leave immediately by a reality change. After reaching Gotham, Dick finds it in worse shape than initially thought. The streets are brimming with crime, Gotham PD is pushing back against vigilante justice, and the bat signal has been withdrawn. It isn't long before Dick pledges to return home, but another reality change leads him to a crime scene linked to Batman. Dick finds Joker's lifeless body, inferring to GPD that Batman is responsible. Meanwhile, Joker's hand moves, showing that he is still alive. Police rush the Joker to the hospital. After that, Dick breaks into Wayne Manor, opening a secret passage to the Batcave in the hope of talking Bruce down. The passage won't open, so Dick informs Bruce that Joker is still alive through a security camera. He tries to talk his mentor down, relating his relationship with Rachel to theirs. He reiterates that Bruce can't cross the line into murder before leaving. After that, Dick runs into Corey, who is now an FBI agent, at the hospital. She questions Dick's reasons for trying to save Bruce from himself, when another reality change cuts the building's power. The two rush to see Joker and find Batman standing over a dead Joker before escaping through the window. Batman has completed his work of killing the Joker anyhow. In the morning, Dick gets the news from Corey that Arkham Asylum has been attacked. Batman has lost his mind because he was in a rage and didn't even hesitate to kill inmates, guards, and nurses. He even killed the warden. This makes Dick very angry at him. Now, Batman cannot be saved, and Dick is forced to reveal his identity to the police. The revelation leads Dick to team up with Gotham Police Department for a raid on Wayne Manor. Multiple SWAT teams infiltrate the mansion, but are quickly taken out by Bruce in the Batcave. Corey prepares to light him up, but Batman shoots her with a cold gun, killing her instantly. Dick has no choice but to blow up the house. He enters following the blast, discovering a still-alive Bruce trapped in the rubble. Dick gives into the darkness and pushes the big block over him, killing him. One final reality change reveals that this entire story occurred in Dick's head, as he stood frozen in Angela's living room. The act of killing Batman morphs Dick into his dark form, complete with black circles around his eyes similar to Rachel's. Rachel tries to snap Dick out of his hypnotic state, but Trigon refuses to release his influence over the former Robin. Rachel's father says that he has allowed Dick's release from his troubled past, and Angela welcomes him as part of their family. A horrified Rachel looks on, as Dick exclaims how good it feels to be home.